Welcome to the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're going to call this one the lightweight episode because it's episode 155, baby. But yeah, man, we're going to recap UFC Fight Night, Dolidze and Imavov. Can't believe that was a main event, but as as it should be, it took place in front of 0 people. So I guess I kind of get the watch.
We almost got another fight mid-fight in that fight. So maybe the most main event thing you could have, almost a 3-way fight in there.
Oh yeah, your favorite guy, Action Man, almost got in the fray.
Yeah, super. Trust me. After the fight, we also heard Imavov in the post-fight talk about this guy's the Action Man. No, he ain't. Like, respect to his teammate.
Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, episode 155, Dolidze and Imavov, and that's exactly where we're gonna start. We're gonna start with this main event, kind of work our way back through the main card, man.
Which
Imavov
is cool.
coming in.
We get to finish with a banger when we work backwards on this one, just to let everyone at home know. It's not starting with the best and ending with the worst. It's starting with, I don't know, arguably mid-tier.
The worst.
Yeah.
I hated this
I would say it ends stronger.
I saw somebody on X who tweeted, literally, I was like, oh, this main event was crazy. I was like, we must have different definitions of crazy. This was a snooze fest.
I mean, round 1 was really fun, and round 4 was fun just because of like the way the score was going to become interesting. But like, yeah, I didn't think
bell to bell, it sucked. Like the antics outside of it and the controversy and how did you score? Sure, like as a podcaster, it's going to be decent to talk about, but like watching that fight bell to bell, like between the whistles, as we say in football, that shit was weak.
There were a lot of stoppages, like in the or for eye pokes, or I mean, he was separating him on the cage when they were just in over/under locks 2 or 3 times that happened. I think one time he stood him up, so it was just like, yeah, a lot of points where these guys were just happy to stalemate and not continue to be actionable.
And like you said, the ref was so involved, it felt like a football game that had a million flags.
Yeah,
just like I'm not even like watching football. Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, Imavov coming in ranked 11, minus 175 favorite, taking on Roman Dolidze, plus 145, ranked 8th in the middleweight division. This is one of those kind of necessary matchmakings. It's like nobody really wanted to see this fight. So I'm pretty shocked that it was a main event, Apex and all that. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like this. Like nobody wanted to see, but needed to happen. Like I understand Apex main event, like they're both ranked, but like I was pretty shocked. This fight did not need to be 5 rounds, and nobody wanted it to be 5 rounds, including probably both the fighters. Like it sounds like I'm shitting on it, but I feel like I'm just saying like neutral facts that just like kind of paint it a certain way. But like I don't know, man. Like did this need to be a main event? I guess
I'll be honest. At points, I felt like even at the very start of this fight, John Gooden was talking for the first 1 minute because Sanko and DC just were done. Like they were just done with this card. And I swear, I was like progressively getting that vibe from DC. Like at one point, I think he was just eating, and they were like waiting for him to say something, and he was just mouthful of food because they both like Gooden and Sanko were like said something to the effect of like, we need DC on that one, but he's not available right now, or something like that. Like, what do you mean he's not available? What's he doing? So
he got his hand in.
This like the fight nights in February feel like full sells. Feel like they do not give a shit about these weekends because they know that 299 and 298 are both fire, and then 300's obviously fire. I think they're just making their nut off these pay-per-views. They don't give a damn about these events in between, which is fine. I get it because honestly, 298, 299, and 300 are all 3 insane. Like they'll probably all be up for event of the year.
Yeah, no, good point. Yeah, no, like just real quick, and then we'll dive into the fight. Like after I got done watching the fights, my wife she was like, how are the fights? And just like kind of, asked it, and I was like, I don't even really know how to answer that question. like mid, I guess. Like I guess that'd be my answer.
Like they were fights. Like they happened.
Yeah, they happened for sure, man. But yeah, we'll dive in just because like Imavov. I'll be real. Coming into it, I like Dolidze in this one.
I had money on Imavov.
Yeah, you like the Imavov. And I think from like X's and O's standpoint, it made sense to like Imavov. But like my thing was Imavov, he really is just so forgettable. And Dolidze has remember when Dolidze first burst onto the scene? I think it was like in the COVID era. I hated Dolidze, and I would like talk about how boring he was and snooze fest. And he was like literally one of my least favorite fighters on the roster. And then he got like 3 finishes in a row against like pretty decent competition. And I was like, all right, you got me on board. Like, I'm gonna quit hating on this guy. Old snoozy Dolidze showed up. It was COVID Dolidze showed up. Which I was so disappointed in. And like I picked new Dolidze. I picked finisher Dolidze. I didn't know I was getting COVID snooze fest Dolidze, or I would have picked Imavov too.
Yeah, but it's hard for him to be finish guy with a guy like Imavov who's so long and on the outside, because Dolidze needs those guys that kind of get in the mix and are down to throw and bang so that he can land those big powerful shots and just end the show. Or as you saw, I kind of was reminded as well, like the guy is a good grappler. Like he can get into, like he damn near got a toe hold at one point. But
yeah.
I think with Dolidze, man, he might have like met his peak. You know what I mean? Like maybe top 10 is it for him.
Well, I think he got to the UFC too late, man. I think he's 35, right? And he's only been in the UFC like 2 or 3 years. So it's like, he's one of these guys almost like he couldn't pull off the Glover move, like where you peak and you know what I mean? Like he got here late, or like even Michael Chandler's going, like Michael Chandler's already 36, 37, like already just got here. So it's like these guys that get here so late, it's tough. Because I think if he would have got here earlier and like maybe like if he was hitting the top 8 when he was 31 or 32, maybe we have a different story here and there's a higher ceiling. But these are a bunch of woulda, coulda, shouldas.
You know
the
what?
reality is, I think you're right. Like I think 8 is probably about as high as he gets because he's 35 years old.
How old is Imavov here too? This might be one of those fights where it speaks to
the age gap.
The age gap.
Late 20s. I think Imavov's 28, 29. He's about
28,
my age.
28. His birthday is actually same day as Kenneth, March 1st. So he'll be 29 here shortly. But I mean that's a 7-year gap, so that would speak to him having the advantage statistically. Now the reason I actually bet on Imavov, I don't even know if I should tell people at home the strategy because I don't want to sway it in the general public, but not enough people are watching, so we'll go for it.
Hey, get while the getting's good, folks. Hit that subscribe button.
So cash to parlay would have honestly, we'll get to Kizraev and me getting fucked on that, and you getting fucked on that.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah, right. But would have had like a fucking heavy parlay. I mean, it was like what, plus 700 or something like that with Kizraev on it. Ended out being like plus 300.
It was going to turn like 20 into 120, I think. So plus 600.
Plus 600, yeah. So, which is pretty fire for a 4-legger. You know what I mean? Didn't have a favorite larger than minus 200. Didn't have any dogs, but I also didn't go like it was minus 140 to minus 200. It was a saucy range to be in. Now, here's how I picked those 4 fights, and this is insane. I could not tell you one thing about Mark. I thought the dude's name was Marcel Medeiros. I didn't even know it was Markel until he stepped in the ring. Here's I swear to God, here's why I bet on him. I literally just looked at handle versus bets placed. And if there was a disparity that was over a certain gap, I decided that sharp money was indicating that one fighter was favored that way. So I just followed sharps this weekend.
Yeah, it's a good strategy, man. And like both of us, we both used different strategies, and we both came out in the green. And the bets are rolling here on Beefy Boys Breakdown.
Yeah, we're actually up like a good amount of units when I think about it, because I didn't bet a couple of these weeks, and I've won twice already.
I doubled my money basically this weekend. So I mean, as a bettor, and it should have been more than that. There was a no contest that took a lot of value off of our parlays. So I mean, but as a bettor, you're greedy if you're mad at doubling your money. You know what I mean? You can't live life that way. But yeah, man. So Harrison was following the sharps. Yeah, and that to the credit of your overarching strategy, I was shocked at this money line. Dolidze was ranked higher. I said he's coming off like 3 consecutive finishes over like ranked guys. So like, I thought, and Imavov is just so, like I said, just forgettable, so mid that it's like he's had a couple losses. I think he had a no contest or a draw recently.
He's the Chris Curtis headbutt.
Yeah, exactly. But man, let's dive into this fight. This fight was so lame that we subconsciously we don't want to talk about it. We're like beating around the bush.
It's weird though, right? Because like round 1, actually I don't think is that lame. I thought round 1 was fun. Now, every round after that is very questionable. But round 1 is fun just because Dolidze, it's very like, there's a big question, right? And that's the fight is semi back and forth. I would say Imavov is definitely winning the striking battle for the first 3 minutes or so. And then at the minute 30 mark, he drops Dolidze. And I thought, honestly, had an argument that the fight could have been stopped at a point. Because, I mean, he beat him up for 65 seconds.
There was, 65 seconds of, unanswered heavy ground and pound. Now, Dolidze was, rolling to his stomach. He was
continually was moving to advanced position, and he kept turning his head away from shots. So, he wasn't intelligently defending. I'll give him that.
Yep, and, at no point did he go limp or flash KO or anything like that. It was borderline, though. I feel you, too. I said, could have, maybe even should have been stopped. I'll tell you what, if I'm a Mavon, I'm mad that fight doesn't get stopped. Or if I'm an underbetter, can you imagine yelling at your TV as an underbetter right there?
I thought about that because under 2.5 was plus 140 as well.
So, I mean, I'm sure TVs were ripped out of the wall when that wasn't stopped. So, depends on your perspective. Neither of us had bet that over under, but I was thinking that, I had the real scumbag sympathy for that guy out there with the plus 140 ticket. But yeah, man, so it sounds like you went 10-8. I went 10-8. If we're using words could have been stopped, I mean.
100%. Now, here's what I put in my notes is that round for 3.5 minutes is pretty damn close, and it's not anywhere indicative of what would be a 10-8 round for the most part in terms of duration. However, when I'm using the terminologies could have been stopped, edge of being finished, I think that dictates that it's a 10-8. And that dominance level of just literally being on the edge of finishing it for a whole minute, that's, to me, dominance and duration. It's just the level of dominance is so high that the duration doesn't have to be quite as long.
Yeah, it was red hot. It was red hot.
Yeah.
It wasn't at a simmer. It was a minute of red hot boiling. No, I agree, man. I saw it the same way. I'd be interested if we end up with the same scorecard at the end.
Also, we got to talk about the judges' scorecards here, too, because they're wild. They're absolutely wild. Oh, God, here, I got to get these back up. I had to go. They didn't have...
I have the numbers, but I don't have the names of the judges.
Okay, so Derek Cleary... Or I'm sorry.
Or do you want to go through it all round by round and then do this at the end, or not?
Well, yeah. So I was just going to say on round 1 the names of the judges as to where they were.
Okay, yeah.
So Derek Cleary agrees with us. Has the 10-8 for Imavov, right? Saul D'Amato and Ron McCarthy, Big John's son, both have 10-9 for Imavov. So only one 10-8 was given. I was very surprised by that.
Actually, bring it full circle. I was listening to the Weighing In podcast earlier at work, and which is John McCarthy, one of the middle judge's dad, and he was talking about his son's scorecards. It was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
And he was saying that, and I don't know if this is official, but unwritten, and Big John's saying it. I mean, he's the authority, right? I'm going to take his opinion over mine.
Literally, he says Nevada write the rule books essentially.
He, in his own words, Nevada is stricter than other states with 10-8. So we got to think about that. When maybe betting decisions or whatever, other states the cards in Europe or Texas or
California,
not California, Nevada. But he said not California and Nevada are strict with the 10-8. That's what Big John was saying. He said,
but they're trying to change that, right? With the Scott Foster's trying to change a good amount of things with the hand down, which comes into play here soon.
Oh, it does. It does. So I don't know. I just thought that was a dope little nugget, and John McCarthy kind of laughed when he talked about, because he was on that podcast with Josh Thompson. And Josh Thompson's one of these judges scored it a draw, and he's yeah, that was my son. He said it a way.
Wow, it was.
Yeah, and he said it in a way he didn't necessarily fuck with it. He was kind of embarrassed. He's yeah,
kind of
that was my son.
That was my kid. One of those I was surprised by it too.
That was a pretty funny little moment on that podcast. Well, just a little tangent. But
when you see his scorecard, I see how he gets there, but I kind of have a problem with him not giving the 10-8 if that's the way he's going to get there.
Me too. That one was a 10-8, bro. was, I mean, you could argue it was a knockout. Like,
right.
You could argue like the round shouldn't have been scored.
And my overarching point would be like, in hindsight, how would you ever think that Dolidze fought that fight to a draw? Just think about the 25 minutes of the fight. I know that's not how it works, but that was not even close to being a draw of a fight.
Well, yeah, agreed. And speaking of, let's get to round 2. Because I thought round 2, like, I don't have the word close. I don't have the, like, I thought round 2 was 10-9 Imavov all day. Dolidze got, like, 0 damage off, had a few moments of snoozy-ass clinch where he didn't advance position, didn't get any damage off. Imavov had the strike numbers. He had the volume. He had the I don't know, man. I saw a couple of Twitter scorecards that scored it for Dolidze, and did one of the judges score it for Dolidze or no?
Not only
I thought round 2 wasn't like a conversation to be had.
So check this out. I scored it for Imavov as well. However, I do have that I understand how you get the Dolidze scorecard. I understand it because Dolidze is gaming the system in round 2 by just getting a shit ton of control time on the fence and limiting the incoming damage. Because Imavov lights him up for the first minute and 20. Then Dolidze just holds him on the fence for 2.5 more minutes, and then Imavov gets back to landing clean shots in the last minute, and Dolidze lands like 2 good hooks, right? So it looks like he's gotten some sort of activity in the round. But whenever I went back and looked at it, I was like, Imavov's landing clean, and this clinch isn't shit, and Imavov's actually landing knees to the body when they separate in this clinch on the fence. So for me, I was like, the damage is definitely Imavov, and this control means absolutely nothing. I mean, standing clinch is literally, should not even be considered control, in my opinion. I mean, or the least effective form. So I have it 10-9 Imavov, but with all that being said, I can see the Dolidze cards and how they're getting there. I hate that way, and I hate that way to judge a fight. And 2 of the judges give Dolidze a 10-9 in this round, and it's the 2 judges that don't give 10-8s. I mean, that seems scummy already.
That's gross. Yeah, I hate that scorecard so much.
So we both have 2017.
Yeah, man. Well, and this has a problem with me as somebody. I didn't bet this fight. But I did pick Dolidze like on but here's the thing: Charlie elbow game, or at least has in the past. He attempted like 0 clinch elbows. He lands a couple of those, gets a cut, a knockdown. I mean, it's a totally different fight. Like, he closed the distance. Remember when we opened this up, and you were like, oh, he's not going to be able to, Imavov stayed on the outside. Dolidze can't be effective. All the snoozy clinch could have been some, like, elbows.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, Dolidze could have pressed the action way more. It seemed like he was getting, like, way too comfortable just holding on the overhook and the underhook and waiting to try to get a body lock, and at no point was he ever getting good takedowns or good entries or anything like that.
No,
so
it was like women's bantamweight fist clinch.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, man. Like, 2 judges have this fight 19-19. Meanwhile, me, you, and another judge are sitting here 2017. Like, those are drastically different.
No, that's bullshit, man. And then round 3 was kind of pretty similar to round 2, in my opinion, except for Imavov got a head kick in. And
whoa.
The body were pretty gnarly.
Now, wait a minute now. Does that... Oh, I'm thinking of the round 4 head kick. I'm sorry. Never mind.
Yeah.
Because...
No, this one was pretty similar, but his hand was off the ground, so it counted. And I scored, you know what I mean?
Right. I was thinking around 4 because I was like, you can't actually score that one in round 4, which is I think a big tipping point in ways to score that round. But anyway, in 3,
no.
In 3, yes, I thought 3 was a clear Imavov round. He was landing good shots, clean shots, and I mean, honestly, avoiding a lot of that snoozy clinch.
Yeah, there was less snoozy clinch, but yeah, Dolidze, man, just getting 0 damage off. And didn't he look so slow? Yeah. And it was crazy. Like, Dolidze looked like he aged 10 years, man. He looked like he's aging like a president, bro. Like, his hairline, he had the Matt Brown hairline. Like, his hairline changed since his last fight. He had gray in the beard, and he looked slow as shit. Like, bro, he fucking aged like 10 years since his last fight. Like, it's crazy. Like, just visually.
All right, now we got to get to round 4. So me and you, we have it I mean, this fight's getting out of hand. It's 30-26 on our scorecards, but on two of the judges' scorecards, it's 29-28, which is just insane. All that being said, what we end up coming across here in round 4 is Dolidze playing the game that Scott Foster, the California State Athletic Commissioner, has talked about, where essentially it's like your fingertips are down. Like your weight is on your hips, your knees are bent, like you're kind of squatting a little bit, but you're just putting your hand there to make sure you don't get kicked in the head, because why wouldn't your opponent kick you in the head right there, right? Well, Nasruddin Imavov decides, I'm going to kick you in the head, I don't care. So does it. Immediately, Herb Dean is like, hey, just go to your corner. Go to your corner. Now, at this point, Chris Curtis starts wolfing, talking hella shit. Imavov immediately starts flipping him off, trying to essentially tell him, like, you didn't do shit when we fought. Like, you can't even say a word. Herb Dean is threatening to disqualify Imavov as he's walking him back across the cage. I don't think Imavov even speaks enough English to know that that's what he's being told, which is unfortunate. And then that also leads me to the point of ruled an illegal strike, point taken from Imavov, and you can't count that strike into the round as far as damage.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, correct. And it was entertaining. It was more entertaining than anything that took place in the actual fight, if you ask me, the wolfing with Curtis. But I thought Herb Dean handled it well. I mean, it's one of those things, and like I said, Big John was talking about it. I was listening to Big John talk about it, and he was saying how it's one of those rules, you hate the rule, but he broke it clearly. Like, I don't think anybody's going to argue that he broke the rule. It's a dumb rule, but hey, like, what can you do?
And such a blatant, like, breaking of the rule that it's like, all right, man, like, warnings were given in the back. Like, I can't soft warn this. Like, I can't hard warn. Like, he kicked him in his face with his hand, and his hand was more down, I thought, that time than because the earlier time, like, whenever he kicked him, he kind of pulled him up just enough to land it, right? Which was important, because in this one, his hand was slightly more down, just enough to keep the fingertips down when the kick landed. Which, to the California Athletic Commissioner's point, like, that's bullshit on Dolidze, man. Like, either go down and sacrifice the position, or get up and defend. Don't 50-50 it.
Oh, yeah, it's complete horseshit. It's a total loophole. So, I mean, all right, how'd you score the round, man? With the point deduction, how'd you score it?
Believe it or not, man, I scored this round to Dolidze, and I was, like, coin flip on this. I thought without the head kick, the damage was pretty 50-50.
Did Dolidze get damage off? Like, I did. Like, well, I know he had some clinch, but
this is the round where he also gets a lot of those grappling scrambles, and so
right, he attempted a couple subs. He kind of won the scramble.
Was close in on the armbar there near the end. Not really, but I mean, yeah, I just felt like he was actually advancing positions and being offensive for once in a round.
I think he won the scramble, which, like, forced him to be quote unquote offensive because, like, I don't know, man. I thought Imavov got more damage off. Like, I think if we're counting, like, punches to the head, I think Imavov still wins that. I do have the words close in all caps. So it's crazy because a close round, instead of being a 10-9 either way, either goes 9-9 or 10-8. Yeah. So I have a 9-9 in Imavov, but I thought in a weird way that was Dolidze's best round. So, like, I don't hate you for, like, you know what I mean. I don't think you're, like, wild and for giving it to Dolidze. I thought it was Dolidze's best round.
Yeah, it's the only round I gave to Dolidze. And that being said, it's like it's the best time for him to have won a round on my card because he gets 10-8 for it instead of 10-9. So, that being said, going into this final round, I still at this point have it 38 to God, I don't even know what, 38-36 or something like that. 38-35.
Yeah.
It's something like that where it's like Dolidze still needs a finish even with that round.
In the words of Chill, this is not that nobody could possibly know. Nobody could possibly know what the math on that.
So yeah, with that being said, we pushed to round 5. I thought round 5 was just clearly Imavov. I mean, all the judges had 10-9. This one was like the round that, and this was most rounds of the fight. Like this round resembled most of the fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, this one blew my mind. As somebody who just scored this firmly for Imavov every single round, I guess except for the draw. Like every round, damn near looked the same. So, like, what's up with these, like, crazy scorecards? Because, like, Twitter had crazy scorecards. I mean, we disagreed on a round barely. And then, like, the judges disagreed on a wide, like, spectrum. And it's just, like, every round was basically the same. There was the scrambles and shit in round 4 that made it somewhat interesting and murky. But, like, it was Dolidze snoozy clinching and Imavov doing, like, some damage with the hands, not a ton. Like, I just, like, rounds 2 through 5, specifically 2, 3, and 5 were, like, identical rounds, basically, like, copy-paste.
Yeah, no, well, and 1 was just, like, the ultra, like, it was 2, 3, and 5, except he landed the KO shot. So, like, that would have been a 10-9 easy for Imavov, I think, anyway, even if he just continues the round out as it was playing and doesn't land that huge bomb. I know that's all he, could have been, would have been, but I just think Imavov was the better fighter. I end with the 48-46 scorecard. You end with the 49-44. I think both of those are fine. I don't really have a problem with those.
Me too.
Now, 47-47, you were trying to give the fight to Dolidze. You did everything in your judging power. It's like refs in the NFL sometimes, like when they miss the pass interference on the Saints-Rams. It's like, okay, well, you kind of weren't doing your job in any facet. Like, that's how that scorecard feels.
No, for sure, man. And, I mean, I guess we got to talk about how this impacts the middleweight division. I am, like, jonesing to, like, keep it pushing from this fight. Like, I hated this fight. I hated this main event. So let's see here. Imavov was 11, beat 8. However, in my own power rankings, like my personal rankings, I have Imavov at 12. Like I just am not an Imavov guy. Granted, super stacked. I have Usman right ahead of him at 11. So it's like I have him like right behind Kamaru Usman. I think Kamaru Usman probably beats Imavov.
I think I know exactly what's next. It's the winner of it's the winner of Pyfer Hermansson. It's next week. Pyfer's unranked, but if he wins, he gets to be 10. They will have no reason to not make Imavov fight backwards 2 at number 8. And then if Hermansson wins,
so Imavov, Pyfer.
Yeah, you're assuming Pyfer wins, yeah.
Well, actually, you know something crazy, and we'll get to that. If I'm going up my power rankings, which I'm trying hard to take my heart out of betting and just use my power rankings to bet, and it's been working. I've been in the green. I have Hermansson still above Pyfer, but like my heart and like my like sports fan, the fan is telling me like, what the fuck? But if I'm like sticking to my system here, I got Hermansson above Pyfer. So it's probably a no bet for me in all reality because I'm very conflicted on that. But regardless, so you're saying the winner of Pyfer Hermansson gets Imavov, and then what? And then you just do loser, winner.
Essentially,
like
I think that. Well, but if Pyfer loses,
well, Dolidze. What, has Dolidze beat Hermansson already? I think he has.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, those are both guys that are older and, like, they're just name values at this point, so you can kind of swish them around if they both lose. Like, I think for the UFC, that's what they'd want. Like, a Caio Borralho, Anthony Hernandez can start to get a shot at those guys.
Borralho, I think those guys just got matched up. I think it's Borralho and Hernandez just got matched. Borralho just got matched up with somebody. I want to say it's Hernandez.
Well, and Chris Curtis is teammates of Dolidze, so they're not going to fight. You could do Paul Craig and Dolidze.
Craig just got booked too. Craig got booked against. I'll apologize that real quick. Sorry, that's going to drive me crazy. Paul Craig just got. It's an interesting match.
No, not Brendan Allen. Shit.
Is that Borralho? I think Borralho and Craig matched up with each other. I think I'm tripping. I think Borralho and Craig. Am I tripping on that?
Paul Craig next fight. Oh no, ESPN's not going to give me that.
No, no, go to Tapology. They have the future one.
Yeah, where is it? Here it is. Where? Kyle Braulio. Yep, 301. UFC
Yeah,
301.
yeah. So that's a fun matchup. That's a fun matchup. So I
Okay.
think that's going to settle a lot.
I have another option here for Dolidze. I have another option. Depending on how long he sits. Bo Nickel's gonna need a jumping off point.
Oh, I love that. Also, Ikram too. You could feed Dolidze to Ikram
Oh,
and then
Ikram
get.
Dolidze would make sense too.
Yeah, yeah. You could just do a good old feeding real quick. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, who cares? Who cares? Like literally, like both of those guys just bum me out. Like just it's just
Yeah.
so because it's like there's so many middleweights that I'm a fan of. Like I'm a middleweight guy. It's middleweight 2024. It's they're a hot boy summer. It's middleweight 2024, and like there's a million middleweights that I'm fucking jazzed about, and neither of those guys are either of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like who cares? But like this was the people's main event coming up. Our co-main,
Oh yeah.
Moicano and Dober. Let's get to it.
Money Moicano, and I got my money on Moicano.
You did, man. This is another one saw differently. Now, granted, I was smart enough to not bet. So I always say whenever I eat shit on my bets, I crush verdict. Well, I did good on my bets and I ate shit on verdict. Hey, I'll take that every time.
We
right?
take that. We take that. We take those every single week.
We take those. But yeah, this is another one we saw differently. Once again, just sticking to my power rankings. Moicano, both of these guys, they're pretty similar places in their career. That's why I thought it was great matchmaking. That's why every UFC fan was looking forward to this one, unlike our main event. Renato Moicano was a minus 190 at finish, ranked 13 in lightweight, taking on Drew Dober plus 160, ranked 15 at lightweight. So this is another good kind of clearing up the murk at the back end of lightweight because there's a million young killers in lightweight. And if those spots are being taken up by veterans, we need to clear up that murk. So I love the matchmaking on all levels.
Not to mention, this is the most legendary division for gatekeeping a ranking when you're old. And Dober and Moicano aren't necessarily young. And so for them to be 15 and 13 shows you how much of a chokehold this division is in from anyone that has youth by their name.
Yeah, 1,000%. There's a lot of guys out there. Saint Denis was able to crash the party, thankfully.
Sarukian and Gamrot got in, but
Sarukian, Gamrot. But yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of young lions out there. They got the Roundbeskis of the world, the Zell Hubers of the world, the Bonfiems. Hell, that Oralby guy might have something to say about this. There's a lot of young killers out there that are unranked, just waiting in the wings. So yeah, clearing up this back end, super important for keeping the division pushing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you still have the ultimate bottleneck of the division of Conor. The champion is the most unbeatable champion in Islam. 55 is it's a terrible. I hate saying this. It pains me to say this. It's a bad weight class to go into if you're a young prospect. I would avoid it. It doesn't even make sense to go into it. Welterweight would be way easier to crack into.
I told us, lightweight and bantamweight, 1,000%. Yeah, save yourself the weight cut and beat some back end welterweights, and then and then you can cut the line if you want to drop down to lightweight in the future.
Exactly. If you're a smaller welterweight and you can make that drop, go ahead and get top 10 in welterweight because you're gonna find easier matchups, and then you can drop and take a top 10 guy out of lightweight, and then you could stay there if you get the win there.
Exactly. Imagine fighting a guy like Roundbeskio, the early prelims for fucking 12 grand. You're like, what? What's happening?
Right. Or you could fight for the number 14 spot against Michael Chiesa. You know what I mean? It's just so worlds apart. Those are worlds apart. But with that being said, so like I said, I had Moicano because of the betting handle. I guess Sharps loved Moicano here. I didn't necessarily. I really didn't. I had this fight as a 50-50. Honestly, liked Drew Dober's left. Didn't know that Moicano would be able to wrestle Drew Dober effectively. Now, that being said, Moicano is good on top.
Moicano gets hit. That was my logic Moicano gets hit. And you can't really get hit from Dober. People forget, all-time leading knockout record in lightweight division.
Bro, his left hand puts people on another planet.
And Moicano gets his chin touched. So, and honestly, neither one of us were wrong here with how we saw the fight. Because at the start of every round, Dober would chin Moicano, but then Moicano would have the wherewithal and the fight IQ to get the fight to the grappling, which he didn't lose a single position in the grappling world. Moicano dominated the grappling, but you could argue Drew Dober dominated the stand-up. But it would be the first 90 seconds of every round, Drew Dober would be teeing off, scoring damage, but then he'd get taken down, rinse and repeat.
Well, I think the rounds are easy to score, but I think they are there's a very telling story to these rounds and how they get there, right? So round one is Dober, like you said, teeing off in the start. Moicano gets the body lock, trip, takedown, controls the whole rest of the round. 3.5 minutes of control he's not just snoozing him.
No.
It was semi-snoozy. It wasn't the best ground and pound, but it was active.
Bro, my snooze button never got hit, bro. I saw people on Twitter calling that snoozy. I disagree. He was advancing position. He was getting damage off. You're right, but maybe just on the cusp, but it was never in the snooze spectrum.
Fully agree with you, which is why I think he was rewarded with that position, and it really didn't get taken from him. I think maybe but once. Even in the end, they didn't take it because he continually would advance into mount, and then Dober would defend it, but it's hey, that's position advancement, and that's damn near taking his back. Getting a full mount is damn near taking someone's back. You're not going to stand him up at that point. That would be fucked up.
Well, we talked about this on Strickland Duplessis, so I'll bring it up now. Did you see Dober after the fight? His picture he posted on Instagram? To say Moicano wasn't doing anything is just a fallacy.
I fully agree. Now, that being said, round two, Dober defends that same takedown attempt with the lat drop and gets his own top position and dominates the round, I thought, because not only did he piece him up to start the round, but he defended the takedown, got his own takedown in a pretty flashy fashion, and then did good damage and had Moicano leaking. So I thought, Dober clearly won too. Now,
so I had Dober winning too, but close. The talking point in round two, which I kind of disagree with, it sounds like you might disagree with it too. Everybody was saying there was a clash of heads on the lateral drop that caused the cut.
I didn't see that.
There was immediately following that, there was an elbow right where the cut happened.
That's what I saw. That too. That's what I saw.
Okay, I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was going crazy.
Well, also
the internet completely.
He's bleeding from here, but he gets dropped on this part of his head. So,
bro, I'm so glad I'm not crazy. I was gaslighting myself. The entire internet was saying cut was from clash of heads. The entire internet. The elbow landed immediately where he started leaking from. Maybe both. Por qué no los dos? Maybe both happened. Maybe there was a clash of heads, but also he got elbowed and started bleeding. I don't know, bro. I saw the elbow cause the cut. I'm glad you saw it the same way because I was gaslighting myself. Nobody else said that.
No, I thought it was legitimately caused cut. I didn't see a clash of heads.
Me too. Okay.
Well, because I
literally was gaslighting myself, bro.
I didn't see how they were going to clash heads in that sequence either with a lat drop because, for Dober to do it, he has to turn his head away and arch his back. So his head's literally swiveling away from Moicano. So I don't even know how
and his head was in Moicano's chest, right? If it was a clash of heads, maybe you hit his chin, but you're not hitting his eyebrow.
Yeah, Moicano's forehead was here on Dober's chest because Dober caught him and then expanded his chest and threw his head back to throw him over his head.
Agreed, bro. I'm actually really glad we saw that the same way because, like I said, I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong on that one. Maybe it was a clash of heads, but no. We both saw that sequence the same way. We both scored that round for Dober. Now, round three, I don't really think there's much debate. It was Moicano, another 3-minute plus control round.
Yes.
Now he let the ground and pound go in round three. I thought it was his best damage round.
That was his best damage round, but once again, Dober winning the start of the round. tries the lat drop again and dropped himself to his back and lost the fight doing it. That was the big thing in round 3. That's the key moment, is when he tries the same drop and Moicano just hugs him to the ground and rides it out. Literally, that was the whole round.
Bro, so Moicano ends up winning 29-28. All 3 judges see it. We saw it the same way. Moicano cuts an awesome promo where he says like everything and nothing at the same time. But it was so
nothing important and just the most entertainment.
Which I'm here for. I saw some people on Twitter saying like, "Oh, he should have like used his mic time better." I thought he gained a lot of fans, which is the point of the mic time, like which gets you bigger fights. Which I think Moicano understands the game. Moicano doesn't Sanhagen in his own career.
Well,
jail. Real quick. I have like a theory on Dober that like Dober has like a top 5 like body, like he's like a top 5 athlete and chin and all that, but he's got like a journeyman's like mentality. He always talks about how don't care if I win or lose, don't care if I'm on main card, don't care if I fight a ranked guy. He always says these things. Don't care if I'm ranked. I just want to fight. And he kind of has this like gym type mentality. But I think he has like a top 5, everything you need except for like the like almost like he doesn't even believe in himself. He has this like complacent, like I'm fine with being on the roster. I'm fine with being like on prelims. Like I think Drew Dober is as athletic as you need to be, as tough as you need to be. Obviously, he hits as hard as you need to hit. I think Drew Dober has a lot of like world-class physical traits, but like a B- mentality.
I can honestly see that. I can see how you get to that. I can see his performances that reflect that, in all honesty. That probably is the case with Drew Dober, is that he's a guy that if he would be, like if he approached his career like Patty and picked the right guys and chose the right fights for himself and always made sure that it wasn't about just going out and putting on a war for the fans, he'd probably be ranked in the top 10, in all honesty.
Like if you put Bilal Muhammad's brain in Drew Dober's body.
Yes, 100%.
He's a top 5 guy.
100%. 100%. Bilal's, yeah. That's such a great comparison because Bilal's just simply the smartest welterweight.
It's wild, Drew. Like it kind of sucks because like I feel like I believe in Drew Dober more than Drew Dober believes in Drew Dober. You know what I'm saying? Like Drew Dober be having like when he gets on podcasts and shit, he talks like he's like a Tim Means. He acts like he's like 46 years old. He's like, oh, I just like getting in there and competing and testing myself against these young guys. And like the way he talks is just like he has the wrong mentality, bro. But we keep it pushing. That's just something that I noticed about Drew Dober that I don't love.
Bro, I think that's a very interesting point, though, that you just brought up about Bilal before we transition, is that, like, welterweight is full of dum-dums when I think about just, like Usman's an idiot. Like, Leon Edwards is an idiot. Obviously, Colby's a moron. Burns will fight anybody at any time and does no service to his career in that sense. Sean Brady, moron. I mean...
All right, man. Up next, we got Randy Brown, minus 265. Salikov, plus 215 vision. This is one where or anything. I guess I should have been more confident. I don't know. Randy Brown's one of these guys you never know what you're going to get, right? It's kind of same with Muslim Salikov. They both have good wins and they both have bad losses.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. And it's like, Muslim, oh, man, I hate saying this. That is the poorest man's version of Stephen Thompson.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, on top of that, he's 39 years old, right? So, like.
And he said he wants to fight 2 more times this year before he's 40.
I mean, probably a smart move if you're taking L's at 39. I don't know if you're going to turn it around at 40. You might as well try to get him in. But. Yeah, man. I mean, Randy Brown, one of his best performances in a long, long time. Maybe his best performance ever.
Yeah, for him to have only landed 13 significant strikes. I mean, yeah, I fully agree with you. Now, all that being, I'm just saying that to give him some shit. Randy Brown actually looked really good. Like, was actually exploiting the range. staying out of the way of the kicks that Salikov was. Now, Salikov did land some good low kicks early, but yeah. I'd say they didn't have too much of an effect by the time Brown decided to unleash his own offense.
Yeah, no, Brown. I mean, also Brown looks huge in there. I mean, he's 6'3", so he is a big guy. And Muslim's like 5'9", I think, or something.
Yeah,
so
they're like 6 inches apart in height.
It looked every bit of it. Like on the TV, it looked almost like 2 different weight classes were fighting.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was absurd. Now, Randy Brown. I mean, pretty much, I have it put down as KO punch. I know he lands the extra punch on the ground, but didn't need to be landed. The ref was super late, I thought, getting in there. Like, that was one of those KOs where it's like, bro, that guy just dropped like a sack of potatoes. Like, immediately you should be stepping and waving your arms. You don't need to see if he's going to, like, eat more shots.
No, I agree, man. I agree. It was over. Yeah, it was a 1-1-2. It was like a jab, cross. And just completely put Muslim Salikov out.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. I mean, for Muslim, I'm at this point where, like, if they cut him, I'm not, like, upset about it by any means. So, like, as far as what's next for him, I don't really care. Like, personally, I'm at the point where, like, that guy could be taking on, like, contender series people.
Oh, 1,000%. That's what I was going to say. Like, he's at the stage where you test him against prospects, or you test prospects against him. 1,000%, bro. And then, yeah, Randy Brown, man. I mean, it's one of those things we always talk about up and down. I think he's put on a couple snooze fests, but, like, I think it's 5 out of his last 6 that he's won, if I'm not mistaken. So he's on a little bit of a run. Let's see where I got. Oh, Randy Brown. You know who I have him right behind? I have Randy Brown right behind Gabriel Bonfim. That would be a sick fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I heard Randy Brown went on the UFC post-fight show or whatever and called out Chiesa, who's 14. I mean, not a bad call-out.
No, not a bad call-out. And if you're Chiesa, I don't know if you're going to get, like, an easier fight than that, a striker that's, like, far. I don't know if Chiesa is going to get a more winnable fight than that. So, like, it kind of makes sense for both parties. They could definitely make that fight. I mean, they could. Let's see. Where do I even have Chiesa? I can't find his ass. Let's see.
Probably, like, 20 or 22. No, maybe not that far. Like, 18.
Oh, I do have him low. I have lost all faith in Chiesa. I have Chiesa actually below Randy Brown. So, like, by a decent amount, dude. So, I have Chiesa down there with the Phil Rose and Kevin Jinseis of the world. And actually, I have him. Yeah, I'm pretty out on Chiesa. I think he has 1 foot out, 1 foot in. He's kind of in that stage of his career where Schaub was when Joe had to give him the talk.
100%. Yeah, man. Like, you're not helping yourself going out there anymore.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I'm kind of out. I think Randy Brown would probably knock out Chiesa, to be honest. Like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. That works. Oh, Randy Brown performances of the night bonus, good on you. That's what I'm saying, man. Randy Brown starts getting these, like, exciting performances because he's winning fights, but he's just doing it in prelims, forgettable opponents, blah, blah, blah. But, like, he's getting a main event bonus-worthy knockout. Like, all right, now, but let's keep it pushing these women's flyweights if you want, man. I think we got a serious problem on our hands, or the flyweight division does.
100%. And I also just want to put out into the ether for us, if it's someone's birthday, we can't bet against them.
Yeah, the birthday fighters do be winning, and it shows the birthday on Tapology, so we just got to pay
honestly,
a little close attention.
I, like, went deeper on it, too, to, like, when you wake up on your birthday and you just have that sense of, like, it's my birthday, like, it's a good day. Like, bro, that psychological boost of even that waking up on a fight day might really be enough in a fight.
For sure, man, but I don't think even Natalia Silva needed that here. We got Viviane Araujo, ranked 7 in the women's flyweight, 37 years old, plus 280 at fight time. Now, I did bet this as a straight, and I got plus 265, so thanks a lot, El Dorado. But then Natalia Silva coming in at minus 355, ranked 9th. And this was a hard fight to judge, and this is why. Viviane Araújo, some L's, but stiff competition level. Has been fighting top 10 girls for like years now. Natalia Silva on like a 5-fight win streak, all cans.
Yeah, can crushing.
So like, I'm like, do we have a Mike Malai here? Or do we have like a Hamza here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I had no way of knowing. And that's what's so tough about betting these kind of fights. They said the value on Araújo, in my power rankings, I had Araújo a decent amount above. You're giving me that type of value. I did a light sprinkle on it. It didn't hit. I'll survive. I still came out in the green. But, like, what I'm saying is Natalia Silva was a question mark to me, but no longer. This was the requisite win she needed to be taken seriously, and women's flyweight has a problem. She has elite skills. I'm not saying she is elite overall, but she has boxes that she checks. Like, she has some Madden ratings in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Some individual attributes.
Not to mention, Araújo was literally attempting to make it the snooziest fight of all time and nullify any sort of space that Silva could get. And Silva did a very impressive job, in my opinion, of any time they were at distance, landing good damage. That even if it was a minute's worth of damage in the round, I was like, oh, this is more than Araújo did. Like, the whole other 4 minutes.
It was kind of foreshadowing to Dolidze and Imavov, honestly. It
felt very similar in that sense. Yeah. Like, bro, I mean, I scored at 30-27 Silva, which I know every judge has 29-28 here for Silva. That first round for Araújo is where they all score at 10-9 Araújo. I just couldn't reward the cage clinch control. I just don't value that cage clinch control.
No, bro, it's like one of those things. I scored it for Araújo. I have the words close and snoozy in my notes, and then I do note down that Natalia Silva had that late flurry where she did get more damage off in that 20 seconds.
Seriously,
our notes are lockstep. I just basically sided the other way, but I have no problem with what you're saying. That being said, I scored at 29-28 Silva. I don't know if this is when we have to go round by round, but I just kind of want to spend a few minutes kind of glazing Silva, as the kids would say, dude. I'm all in, bro. I'm shoveling coal. Bro, so what I was saying earlier, she has elite traits, bro. She's as fast as anybody in the division, and that's including Shevchenko. Now, I don't know if she's as fast as like a 26-year-old Shevchenko, but Shevchenko get up there in age, bro. She's as fast as anybody in the division. That goes for Grasso. That goes for all of them, man. Speed-wise, I'm talking like hand speed, kick speed, even like footwork speed. Hell, she may beat them all in a sprint. She's just athletic and fast and quick twitch. Quick twitch is a motherfucker on Silva.
I would say her kick speed is Shevchenko and her are the top two as far as like getting a kick from like floor to your head. They're fast. Like her kicks were so fast that Araújo got clipped with them 4 or 5 times in this whole. Now, granted, didn't get put out. Credit to Araújo's chin because she was eating him, but like, yeah, Silva's kicks are insanely fast. Like jump out of the screen fast.
But hands too, bro. Hands too. That jab was fucking quick and long and stiff. I mean. The hands are fast too.
Her background is Taekwondo, so yeah, she looks like a Taekwondo fighter in there, but has very good takedown defense.
Yes, and she can navigate the cage work and the clinch and the takedown defense. She's kind of like Izzy Adesanya in that way, where she just kind of worked on the defensive side of MMA, but offensively she's a striker. You know what I mean?
Now, what do you want to see next for her?
Bro.
She's going to go to 7, so what do you want to see next for her?
You know something weird? I have her at 10 in my power rankings. I think Rose Namajunas is booked, Macy Barber's booked, Chikagian's booked. I don't know if Hebus is hooked. You could give her Hebus.
Yeah, I guess Hebus. I was gonna say a Tracy Cortez fight could be pretty fun to kind of start to thin out. Like,
oh, that's good. I like that. I'll go with that. I like yours more than mine.
well, I'm just like I'm at the point now where it's like, yeah, these are the young lions, and like I know Macy Barber's at 6, but like you said, booked. But it's like, all right, well, we got to start having them fight and narrowing it down because we do have Fioro and Blanchfield and Shevchenko and Grasso kind of already separated from everyone else. So now we need to start defining like who from this new wave of girls in the back end can actually climb. And I think that 10 versus 7 fight's perfect for that.
Yeah, but I think Hebus accomplishes that too. Like, win over if you get back-to-back wins over Araujo and Hebus, like you're a top 6, top 5.
Hebas Silva is super fun too because of the styles, right? Like Hebas stand-up striker. Oh man, I think you might be frozen.
I can hear you. You're good. You're good.
I think he's back.
Am I back? Am I back?
There, yeah, kinda. Your voice is back. There's not really any video, but it's fine. We'll keep it moving.
I was with you the whole time. I mean, I can hear you the whole time. So but yeah, no, there's a few things you can do at flyweight. But what we're saying is Natalia Silva is at the top of the division. She's world class, basically.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's keep it pushing, man. The audio is deteriorating horribly.
Yeah, man. Let's keep it pushing here. I'll let you introduce this next one.
So we have Alyashkov Khizraev. It's a lot of phlegm in my mouth for this one. I believe he's minus 140 here on the betting line, and then you have Mahmoud Muradov plus 120.
Yeah, he was minus 140 at finish. Once again, shout out Eldorado for giving us minus 155. Thanks a lot.
So, man, me introducing that fight probably took longer than 11 seconds, which is how long this fight took in terms of before it was called a no contest.
Yeah, such a boner killer. Fucking robbed us on our parlays. I think I went from I would have quadrupled my money, but then instead with this leg removed, I doubled my money. Killed my 4-legger and a 2-legger. I had it turned a 2-legger into a straight and turned a 4-legger that would have cashed into a 3-legger. What a bummer.
Yeah, really boner killed my money. Boner Jams 03 lost me essentially like 55 or $50 on him just not being able to get, because I do think Khizraev wins this fight, but I mean it is weird to think like I could have won no money if he loses, so at least I do win, so I'll take that. But man, for me this is just like run this fight back, because I mean literally nothing happened. Like one seat, like they stepped up, each threw a punch.
No, it's actually an actual statistic. Fastest no contest in UFC history. 11 seconds.
There you go.
I saw that on X.
There you go. So I say run it back. I say get Mahmoud Muradov's eye back and let's run it back.
I'm going to push back on that. I don't think this fight should have been made. But here, this was my lock of the week. I have Khizraev so far ahead of Muradov in my power rankings that I mean, I think Khizraev deserves a bigger, better fight. Now, you can argue that's an easy win for him. But, bro, I would give Khizraev – you know who I would give? I would give him your boy Chris Curtis. Let's get Chris Curtis out of the rankings.
I'm here for it.
Khizraev in the rankings, and let's get Chris Curtis out of the rankings. Now, because it's Chris Curtis, the fight's probably going to suck to watch, and you'll be like, thanks a lot, D-Mac, for suggesting that one. But – I think Khizraev would get the win and get your boy Chris Curtis out of the rankings.
I'm okay with that. Honestly, I'm okay with whatever they want to do with either of these guys. I'm at that point with either one of these guys where I both think they can climb. If they want to eliminate them by fighting them against each other, totally fine with that too. I think Khizraev's is a way higher ceiling than Muradov, but Muradov brings a high floor, so it's always a good test for really anyone you want to see if they're going to get to the top 20, top 15.
Yeah, Muradov's one of those guys. He's a big, scary, tough guy, but he's just not that good. You know what I mean?
Strange.
Like he's a plus athlete. He's large. He's tough. He's mean. He's scary. But he just doesn't bring that much of a threat to the table, I don't feel like.
Well, and his record's 26-8, so I mean, experienced, like clearly has a pretty good win rate, like over 75%. Super tough, like you said.
Like you said, high floor. High floor. That's the perfect way to, but like low ceiling, high floor.
Right, which kind of the opposite with his I have is like, floor I think is high, but ceiling I know is super high.
For sure. Also, might be at the wrong weight class. He's another one of these guys.
Yeah, like, bro.
He's like 5'8". Yeah, bro. Yeah, and he's like a little chubby too. Like the weight's there to be lost. Like,
he reminds me so much of Kelvin Gastelum. Like, be a welterweight.
Kids right at welterweight's that problem.
Yeah, but at middleweight, I'm like, dude, like a guy like Izzy is gonna dominate his Rayev.
Oh, for sure. Let's keep it pushing, man. Up next, we got tough veteran Gilbert Urbina, minus 200, taking on Charles Radke, plus 165. Now, this is where El Dorado came in for you, boy. I got him at plus 170. And at welterweight division. And, like, bro, this is one where my power rankings did me right. I had Gilbert Urbina down there like the can tier. And I had Charles Radke, like, I mean, pretty low, don't get me wrong, but, like, not at, like, a total can. I was pretty shocked when I saw that I was getting plus 170 on Radke. Like, hell yeah, that's why I went ahead and threw him in my four-legger. So I actually cashed a plus 170 in what ends up being a three. Feels good as a better. When you put a plus 170 in a four-legger, ends up being a three-legger, and it casts, bro, that's value city.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You jumped your value up crazy by adding that. I was thinking about that in hindsight. I was like, God, if I had rid Radke on mine, I would have been getting paid. But, yeah, old Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke.
Buffalo Chuck.
His fight style is listed as Thug Jitsu, which I think is hilarious. He's essentially going to be, I mean, he's 33, so he doesn't have too much time, but he kind of has that Colby Covington rub.
Well, he has that Colby Covington kind of like persona for sure. Fights very differently than Colby Covington. I mean, he's a knockout artist, right? I think he's 2-0, 2 KOs.
Bro, yeah, no, he got a unanimous decision against Blood Diamond. Okay. But what I thought, Blood Diamond too, Jesus Christ. What I thought was so funny was every time the camera would get close to Radke, he'd say something to it, and then he would look at the camera and like put his hand up in it and be like, "Get that shit out of my face." But every time he would talk to it before he would do that, and I was just like, this guy is really good at this villain role. Like, he gets it.
He's unhinged, bro. He's on that Strickland timing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But let's talk about his performance, which I'll go out and say I thought deserved a bonus. He doesn't get one, but he gets a first-round knockout, the 447 marks at the very end of the first round. Left hook drops him into the ground and pound. The crazy part is, though, like 50 seconds prior to that, he lands the exact same punch. He was like spamming. He was like Mortal Kombat spamming this combo, but it was working. I mean, which, like I said, Urbina, like that shows the low level of Urbina. He got knocked out with the same thing. Like, it's like, you know, the whole saying, like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like, he got knocked out with the same exact sequence that he already got caught with.
Well, and like it was one of those things where Urbina was essentially like out on his feet whenever he was up because or whoever the ref was yelling at him like, Gilbert, you got to or it was Mark Smith. He was like, you got to defend, and I was like, I feel like he's standing and defending, and then he gets flatlined, and I was like, I don't think he's defending.
Yeah, he must have had like a glazed look in his eyes. Like I bet Mark Smith could tell as an experienced referee. Because like I said, he got caught with the same. It's like earlier. Moicano, right? We were talking about Moicano's like fight IQ. Fool me once. Drew Dober got the lateral drop once, but when he tried it that second time, he reversed it. Being a low level, the same combo twice.
Yeah, right. Got finished. Right, straight, left hook. Good night.
Yeah, man. But Radke, man, that's real power. I mean, that's a violent finish.
Bro,
like I said, Go ahead.
I loved it whenever the DC very first walked up to him in the octagon, and Radke looks at me and goes, "You nervous?" And DC goes, "Yeah."
Yeah, that was funny. That was a good move. That was awesome. I'm trying to see where I jumped Radke up right sandwich between Nico Price and Abukabar Nurmagomedov.
Nico Price and Radke would be so fun.
But I think he's beaten 2 like low level cans, right? I think it's time he gets like a veteran test, like still pretty low level. Like Nico Price, let's be real, no world beater, but a step up from Gilbert Urbina and like a veteran. And like that's like if you got to win over Nico Price, it's like all right, now we're cooking with gas. You're 3-0, a knockout. A win over Nico Price. Now we can start taking him seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he's one more like good win against a semi-quality opponent away from me saying like he should fight someone like Mike Malott. Like he's getting up there if he gets another super good performance. Just because, I mean the performances are there, but dude, he's great on the mic. Like can sell a fight. I mean he has the personality to go along with pretty good fighting.
But right now he's crushing cans. You know what I mean? Like Blood Diamond cut, Urbina can, probably going to be cut soon.
Urbina will be cut. Yeah. Now I will say, like, what do you think about like a Jeremiah Wells or like a Carlson Harris, like someone like that? Is that still a can? Too much of a can?
No. Well, Wells fights next week, actually. Wells fights. It's pretty interesting, actually. Who does Wells fight? Wells fights. I have it here. Max Griffin.
Oh,
I like Wells in that fight a lot. Like I'm gonna probably hammer Wells.
So, and I assume Simmelsberger's getting cut, right?
Oh, I hope not. You know that one would sting you, boy. But he is taking L's. But yeah, I don't. To my knowledge, no. But like, would it shock me if it happened? Also, no.
I'm just wondering how they want to go with Radke. In all honesty, man, like I don't know. It's how the UFC wants to play it.
That's why I'm saying that Nico Price makes all the sense in the world, bro.
Well,
like Nico what about with another L is probably getting cut himself.
What about Garimbo?
Ooh, Radke Garimbo. Hey, sign me up. That would be sick. I'll say this, though, and this is the weird way that this sport works. I think Garimbo beats Nico Price, but I also think that a win over Nico Price does more for Radke's career than a win over Garimbo. If that makes sense.
100% agree with you. I just think that Garimbo and him both getting finishes in the same night and Garimbo kind of having that little Rock backstory pop as like a hero guy you can cheer for, and Radke being the Terminator, the guy you should not cheer for, but I will every time. I don't know. It's an easy marketing sell for the UFC if they wanted to put it on the like third to... I don't know, actually, man. Maybe like a Wellington Turman's more in line for like a Charles Radke at this point. Like, you need someone that has semi-name value.
That's what I'm saying, bro. He's crushed 2 cans, bro. And Garimbo's not a can. But I think they both deserve. I think they both deserve like a Nico Price level guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I think, not that you don't want to cannibalize them. I don't think that either one of them is important enough for that to like ring true. I just think that you give them each a vet. Like I think they both earned like a vet, like a lower level vet, like a Brian Barberena would work for either one of them, in my opinion.
What weight is Court McGee fighting at?
Court McGee, I do believe did get cut. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But what I mean, a Tim Means.
Like, yeah. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying. Nico Price, a Tim Means, hell, maybe at this point a goddamn.
What about like a Phil Rowe?
A Song Kanon. A Phil Rowe would make a level of sense. A Semmelsberger, maybe even like an Alex Morono. Maybe even Alex Morono.
Radke would be great.
Yeah, something like that, though. I think they've earned like a veteran, an unranked veteran. that's kind of trending downwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With a little bit of name value.
Right. Agree. I fully agree with that. I like that for Radke. I like that a lot.
Yeah, man, that wraps up this little main card breakdown. Yeah, man. We'll maybe be back to you soon with the prelims, but these are pre-recorded anyway. So either way, we'll figure it out, man. That wraps up the main card. Decent main card. The main event was a snooze fest. Co-main was pretty awesome. Randy Brown knockout. Radke knockout. Chisry have no contest. Silva, we got something up there. I don't know. I'd score this main card 6 out of 10.
That's fair. 5.5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. That's like pretty much exactly where I'm at with it. Like exactly where I'm at with it. But yeah, that'll wrap up our main card recap, episode 155. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment who you would like to see Imavov fight next, because I'm just genuinely interested in what the public even wants for this guy, because he's just kind of unlikable. And then as well, in tandem, let us know what you'd like to see for Radke next, because that guy's way more fun. It's funny because it's like the main event, the guy you should want to match up, you really don't give a shit about. And the guy that opened the main card that has his second fight now in the UFC, Radke, is like, wave. There's the matchups are endless for him that are fun.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, like and subscribe. There's an official Beefy Boys Breakdown Instagram account that we're trying to get off the ground. We're on X/Twitter at Beefy Breakdown. Those are the easiest platforms to engage with us on. Fucking share some funny memes with us. You know, whatever. Just engage with us, and we appreciate you watching.
Yes, sir. We will see you guys for the prelims.